What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're live again. It's an early morning one, too. I don't like getting up in the morning, but we got to talk about Eric Adams in the airport. He don't give a no more, I guess. Ketanji Brown is losing her mind and her salvation at the same time. New York man getting shot on New Year's Eve. It's the dumbest story I've ever heard of in my life. California fraud is out of control. Target is out of control. And Donald Trump did the unthinkable in Michigan. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go home today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Make sure you follow and subscribe to me on all the platforms that you look at content on. I'm on everything, baby. We got it all set. My team is all ready to go. Get me on the podcast show if you want to listen to the audio on you, like listen to when you work out. The Officer Tatum Show on the podcast. Tatum Store for the merch. Blackline is the fastest growing security company in the country, self-proclaimed. I haven't looked at the numbers, but I think we are. I can't find nobody else. Can you? Okay, that's what I thought. All right, Freedom Chat. Make sure you join me on Freedom Chat. End-to-end encrypted communication. Get off that WhatsApp and Signal and all of that stuff and jump on the Freedom Chat. It's a company that believes in your values. All right? Let's get into the first topic. Donald Trump. I'm going to go to Donald J. Trump. He out here acting a fool. And you know what? I don't have a problem with it. Let me tell you why. These fake, phony politicians will sit out here and in your face will act a certain way, and behind your back, they dirty dog devils. At least Donald Trump in your face is the same person he is when he's in the Oval Office with Melania. And you can't see him. Same person. He don't give up. He didn't give it then, and he don't give it now. And he ain't going to give it in the future. So Donald Trump was at the Ford power plant or car plant or whatever you call it, and he was making America great again. And I'll show you a quick clip of a recap of what that was. And then somebody said something crazy to Donnie, and Donnie gave him the bird. The bird pooped with it. I'm just kidding. Roll the clip.
Hello, everybody. This is Bill Ford, and he's just expanded the plant and went to 24 hours and 24-hour shifts. And Jim Farley, you know, everybody knows Jimmy's a legend in the industry. But they're just saying their business is better than ever. They're doing 24 hours, Jim, now, 6 days a week. And they do expansions, and they're building more plants in the United States because of tariffs. And Jim said, and Bill very strongly confirmed, they've never seen anything like it. In all of the years that they've been in business, they've never seen what's happening now like it. So it's a great honor. But so this plant, you might talk about it. This plant goes 24 hours around the clock. Before, it used to go 3 hours around the clock.
No, it will. So we're adding a third shift, and it's going to be running, as the president said, 24 hours, 6 days a week. And that just shows the demand there is for this product, which is the best-selling product, as you all know, in America, and it just gets hotter and hotter. So we have a great relationship with the president and his whole staff. They've been great to work with for us. He personally is incredibly responsive every time we need something or call. We very much appreciate it, and you know, we couldn't be more excited. We're adding market share. We're growing as a company. We're adding jobs, not just here but elsewhere. Yeah, times are good for us.
And all of the U.S. automakers now are doing great. And before, they were having a really hard time. You couldn't. The environmentalists would not have let them survive.
Now, this is Donald Trump making the auto industry great again. And this is what I like to see from the president. I like to see the president going out and highlighting American companies that are employing American people. You know, some people have, you know, their underwear balled up because they don't like the fact that people are making billions of dollars and all this other stuff. Well, a plant that's running they added an extra shift. The plant is running 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. You know how many people are going to get hired? You know how many people are going to be employed? American citizens. So these people that make all this money and these companies that are worth trillions of dollars, that's how you get paid. That's how you get to work. Some of y'all driving Fords. That's how you get to work. That's how you get to work to make the money that you make the money to pay taxes. And then they hiring 40,000, 50, 100,000 people and all them paying taxes. And Ford has to pay sales tax. I mean, not sales tax, but they would have to pay property tax. They would have to pay payroll tax. Like, I mean, these major companies and their expansion and success in America helps the American economy like never before. And it helps some of y'all get a job. And that's what we need in America. And I bet the wages are pretty good working for Ford. A lot of these places do pay very well. People don't manage their money right. And sometimes it's not the company. It's the fact that you don't manage your money right is the reason why you go and check the check. Now, I'm just saying that y'all can get mad at me all you want, but I was born during the day, but I wasn't born yesterday. And I remember when I was a cop making $21.88 an hour. That was $46,000 a year before taxes. And I had a kid. I was paying child support, everything. And I was doing all right. And I was kind of going check to check. Why? Because I was not managing my money right. Had a car payment, $400. I bought a house that only I lived in. It was 3 bedrooms. Did I really need to do that? No, I chose to do that. And that's why I was going check to check. I could have consolidated. I could have had a roommate. I could have did a lot of other things that allowed me to have a lot more money in my pocket, but that's not what I want to do. I'm not going to blame the job. I blame the way I manage my money. Okay, let's get to what Donald Trump actually did. So here's the statement from the White House, and then I'm going to show you what he did. Roll the clip.
A lunatic was wildly screaming expletives in a complete fit of rage, and the president gave an appropriate and unambiguous response.
All right, let's look at his appropriate and unambiguous response. Come on, go back. I want to see Donnie do it again. I just want to make sure I saw what I think I saw. When I first saw this, I said, maybe he put his thumb up and the news is like acting like he's, sticking his middle finger up. But as the day went on yesterday, I realized that he did stick his middle finger up. And it looked like he's mouthing F you. F you. Roll it again. Now, will I behave that way externally? No. Do I think what he just did a lot of the times? 100% yes. I want to stick my middle finger up at so many people, but I don't. Because I want the Lord to be pleased with me, and I want my reputation to be good amongst my brethren. Okay? But in my mind, there's a whole bunch of people that I want to say you to. A whole bunch. I ran out of fingers and toes, knees and elbows. A bunch of people. And I like to get them face to face and say, and I bet the Lord wanted to do that to people too, but he didn't. Y'all want to talk church? Some of y'all getting holier than thou. Remember when Jesus went to the temple and flipped over them tables? He probably said some stuff in Aramaic or whatever they call it. I don't know what language he actually spoke. Hebrew. I mean, he didn't speak. He probably spoke a little Hebrew too. I mean, he had to. He could read Hebrew, obviously. You know the Torah. Maybe it was Arabic, Aramaic. Maybe Aramaic is the written language. I don't know. I got to go look up I got to look it up. But regardless, I bet he was saying some stuff that hurt people's feelings. How much you want to bet? In the English translation, it says that Jesus called them vipers, hypocrites, untoward. That's an English translation. I don't know how strong that was in his language. And it probably was way stronger. That's why they killed him. They were so butthurt at the stuff he was saying, they killed him. And when he was in the temple flipping over tables, it said he grabbed a whip and struck it. Now, some people articulate that he just cracked the whip to get the animals out of the temple. Some people say he was hitting people with it. Jesus wasn't playing. Some of you softies that walk around and thinking everything is a game, you forget your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He held it down. He used to tell his apostles, "Get behind me, Satan," he told Peter. He told people they going to hell and everything. Come on, read your Bible. Unless your righteousness doesn't exceed that of the scribe or the Pharisee, you will not enter the kingdom of God. You know how people's feelings was hurt when Jesus was talking. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. He probably had a rock in his hand. Now, some people believe that wasn't really originally a part of the Bible, that they added that to the Bible later, and it wasn't an original text. But for the sake of conversation right now, it's in the Bible that we read. And why did they scatter? He probably picked up a rock and said, "First, which one of y'all want to get hit first?" Come on. Let me tell you, I got some more. Peter cut that man's ear off. Y'all remember that? And Christ put his ear back on. He didn't tell Peter not to carry a sword. He didn't tell Peter that he didn't need to get gangster every now and again. He said right now ain't the time. But Peter had been carrying that sword, and Peter was a gangster the whole time. And Jesus said, "Look, there's a time and a place for you to get gangster. But like right now, I got to do this." Put his ear back on there. I got to go to Calvary's cross. You'll get gangster later on. Matter of fact, Jesus said, when I come back, I'm going to be the biggest gangster. When I come back to defeat the enemy on that horse, all right, y'all don't read the Bible. That's why you don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's go to the next thing I want to talk about. Eric Adams is acting ungodly in the airport, but I don't blame him. You blue-head devils got to stop playing with people. The man, I don't know what he's doing, but it looked to me like he's just walking right now. And one of these blue-head devils want to accost him at the airport. And you know how I know she a blue-head devil? Because she got a mask on. What you still doing wearing a mask? It don't work. Let me come over here, let me fart. And you smell it, you dead. That's all I gotta say. Let's do a test. Everybody get on, put your mask on. I'm gonna eat some hot dogs, chili. I'm gonna run it up. And I'm gonna get one, a big one. Burn. And if you smell it, you gotta get off the airplane. You owe me $100. And you can never wear a mask again. Y'all wanna do the test? All right, that's what I thought. Shut your mouth and take that mask off. Quit looking stupid. You ain't virtuous because you still stupid enough to wear a mask that don't work on a plane with clean circulated filtered air. And then you dumb enough to get the thing on and then you got to pull it down and eat something. Well, you just got sick right there. And then you're sipping out of a cup that you don't know where that cup came from. I had a lady at Starbucks the other day hand me my drink like this. Ma'am, your hand on the top where my mouth supposed to go. How you hand me my drink like this? And then y'all don't even know where the cup was at before they in the back. You don't know what they dropped that cup on the floor like this, upside down. They picked it up and went and put your drink in it. They got cobwebs in it. But your mask is gonna save your life. Y'all ain't gonna make heaven. You ain't gonna make it. All right, let's play Eric Adams. Roll it.
Punch me in the face, Eric Adams. Please punch me in the face. I would love if you punch me in the face. Okay, you can get too.
All right?
Yeah, you.
Those things are over.
Yeah, good. Thank God. Damn. And I can see your ugly ass face everywhere. Damn.
That's nice.
I said that's lipstick too.
If I wasn't a Christian, I think he should have hit her. But I'm a Christian, so you can't hit people like that. But these people are foolish and stupid. Hit me in the face. You know she said something to him. He'd be like, I'd punch you in the face talking to me like that. Hit me there. hit me in the face. He like, go yourself. I'm not the mayor no more. Get up out of my face. Now, I'm not condoning the cussing. I'm not condoning it. But what I'm saying is y'all need to quit playing with people because not everybody got time to be playing around with you because you somehow in your feelings. Now, I'm telling you right now, Mayor Adams is, I don't know, he probably like 5'6", 140, 150, maybe 160. Getting a little older, got a little dad weight on him, he probably 160. Some of y'all don't realize that I'm 6'3", 250 with number lion in here. Lion. So don't you confront me at the airport. If you feel it in your soul, keep it to yourself. And just so you know, the guy that's with me is just as big as me or bigger. So don't play around. This ain't a game out here. Just like the little fools found out in Minnesota. They out there with that camera. Hey, big boy, you better get a lunch. How did that work out? Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, we gotta, hey, while I'm talking about this, we gotta get Tucker Carlson's sorry self. And that clip of him comparing Charlie Kirk to Venezuela boats. My wife shared it. I think I shared it on my stories on Instagram. I got it. I'm gonna address him in a second. Okay. Let's go to Ketanji DEI Brown. They should have never selected this woman to be a Supreme Court justice. There's a plethora of intelligent, qualified black women, and Ketanji Brown Jackson ain't one of them. And let me tell you why she's not qualified. And then she about 4'11", 4'8". She a little weirdo. I saw her on stage. I said, oh, dang, she little and weird. And then she's saying stuff like this. Pull up on the screen. Put his hamburger heifer on the screen. And the only reason I'm saying this about Ketanji Brown, because I have respect for justice. This woman is silly. If she was a respectable woman, I wouldn't even say this to her. I don't care if she was a Democrat or not. But you don't get respect for me talking like this. Let me play the clip real quick, and I'll get back to what I was going to say. Roll it.
You have the overarching classification. You know, everybody has to be play on the team that is the same as their sex at birth. But then you have a gender identity definition that is operating within that, meaning a distinction, meaning that for cisgender girls, they can play consistent with their gender identity. For transgender girls, they can't.
So I think that, okay.
Before Michael say something. What is a cisgender girl? Ketanji, you're a woman, right? What you talking about? You are you do not represent the people of color well. What do you mean cisgender? There's no such thing as cisgender. But because you are a simp and a little weirdo and you got to capitulate to fake justice for gender identity, you going to say whatever you need to say and just divorce yourself from logic. She the same fool that when she was getting her confirmation hearing, what is a woman? And she go, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. And the guy said, what do you mean? You don't need to be a biologist to know what a woman is. Ain't you a woman? I don't know how to answer that question. You ain't gonna make heaven. That's my new term. You ain't gonna make heaven. Because I don't like to say people going to hell, but you ain't gonna make heaven acting like this. And she talking about cisgender and all that. This is what a woman is saying. You women out there, how y'all support a woman like this? She the first black woman. She don't even rock with y'all like that. She out here letting men take y'all position. Come on, let Michael speak. Roll it.
To the part about your ability to pass over from boy to girl, where
yes,
you can go from one way but not the other. I want to be clear that BPJ is not challenging that specific classification. I think that's important to start with. But I think, if anything, that's useful evidence as to the lack of a transgender-based discrimination, because if the legislature were just sort of unsettled by the notion of transgender athletes, I think the answer would have been to then bar them from passing over in any way consistent with their gender.
I appreciate that. I guess I was getting at the what I understood the Chief Justice to be trying to discuss, which was this notion that this is really just about the definition of who we accept that you can separate boys and girls, and we are now looking at the definition of a girl, and we're saying only people who were girl assigned at birth qualify.
Yeah, she get the chirp. Just some people so smart they stupid. Well, maybe they're not actually smart at all. I mean, maybe that's what the real trick is, right? Maybe they're actually stupid, but they just sound educated. Because I think there must be a platform where you say, when you so ignorant that you don't look at nothing, you fall off a cliff of being completely stupid and you can't function in society appropriately. Sometimes when you feel like you're so educated, you think you're smarter than what you really are, and therefore you're so smart you don't have any common sense. You can't think logically. You can't put things in perspective. You're kind of so high-minded that you can't speak to real human existence anymore. You're so devolved in all this ridiculousness and theology and all this stuff, and you don't have a center. So some people, they get so educated, they go to school and they learn all this stuff just to get stupid. And then some people don't learn nothing, and then therefore they remain stupid. One of the two things that happen, you got to have a sweet spot. You got to be intelligent enough to have wisdom. Like there is no intelligence without wisdom, because you can only learn so much. But if you don't have wisdom in the way to apply what you learn, what are you really doing in life? I think that was the end of that clip, right? But Ketanji Brown is an embarrassment. We got the Tucker clip. Pull this fool up. I know some of y'all mad at me, but I want you to watch Tucker Carlson's show. I want you to watch him more than you watch me for the next week. And you will realize what I'm saying. Now, what in the funnel cake is going on to make this fool say what he's about to say? He's a fool. Roll the clip.
Violence is no big deal. We're totally for violence. Just blow up the drug boats, whatever. Are they drug runners? Who cares? Kill them. And by the way, Charlie Kirk got shot. Well, yeah, because he used bad words. He deserved it. People believe that. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's actually been inverted. Sticks and stones are fine, but words are the threat. What is that? It's terrifying.
This is his clip. His people cut this. So don't say I'm taking out of context. He just equated drug runners in Venezuela sending fentanyl that's killing people in America to Charlie Kirk being on campus exercising his constitutional right to free speech. There is no equivalence. The Venezuela nut jobs, drug runners, are getting killed because they're committing acts of terrorism against America. So their death is justified under international law for us combating terrorists from terrorizing or bringing drugs, crime, illegal people, gang members into the United States of America. We have a right to defend our border from drug smuggling and gang activity. Charlie Kirk was killed by a nut job who didn't like what he said. That's the difference between the government executing a right to thwart drugs being trafficked into America than for a private citizen to be mad because he want that transgender on his back every night, and he was mad that Charlie Kirk was calling it out, and so he went to kill a man. The government, a private citizen. How are you equating this, Tucker Carlson? How are you equating this? Let me just add this other part, because I heard Tucker say some other stuff, and I wish I had the clip. Maybe we'll do it in post-production. I don't know. murder, death is never really an option. I love death, but I don't really like death because death has never been a part of my life. Because as a Christian, I don't believe anybody should die. You know, Jesus died, but he was raised. But even though God ordered the slaughter of so many people in the Old Testament, but the Old Testament isn't real. I don't know. Is it real? I don't know. That's how stupid he sounds. Like, this fool thinks, and I will play the clip. Nick will get it for you. This fool thinks, he said, if innocent people, we should never go to war. There should never be any wars. Because if innocent people could die as a result, it's always wrong. Like, what exactly are you saying? You're saying if the cartel came over here and beheaded 1,600 people, that we should not go after the cartel because innocent people may end up getting killed. But the funny thing is, have you heard him talk about Venezuela? I mean, not Venezuela, but Iran. Have you heard him talk about Iran? He went on a tangent about Gaza and the innocent children. And this is not right. But he didn't say nothing about the Christians in Nigeria. Innocent people getting killed that are Christians. He said nothing about Iran, where they allegedly killed like 1,200 citizens just overnight, just the other night, who were protesting against an oppressive regime. What about their kids? Do they not deserve justice? Do they not deserve to be from up under the heel of an oppressor? They're getting killed. They throw gays off buildings and everything. And Tucker won't say nothing because it'll make Muslims look bad. Have he said anything about the fraud? I haven't seen any clips about the fraud that's been exposed from the Somalians. Have he talked about it? I haven't seen him talk about it. Have you? Maybe he will. Why won't he talk about it? Because it got something to do with Muslims. But if you bring a Jew into it, you can get a whole series. Every Jew hater in the world, dead or alive, he'll interview them on his show. He interviewed Milo, who's a complete nut job, who said Charlie Kirk was gay. He said Charlie Kirk was a homosexual. Interviewed that guy. We all know he interviewed little Hitler and didn't even push back on him at one time. Then he interviewed another nut job. What's the dude with the mustache? Look like he should be on some watch list. Ian Carroll. Interviewed that nut job that pretty much said that Erica Kirk had something to do with Charlie's death. You got one of the biggest platforms. You interviewing and you ain't not even you ain't having a conversation with him. You're giving him a platform to be stupid. And I can't stand Tucker anymore. I never really was a super fan of Tucker, but I always liked him. I respected him because I felt like he was standing up for the truth. But now he don't have that teleprompter. Now ain't no guardrails. Now you see how silly he is. And they're all silly. Have you noticed that these people that used to work for corporate America, mainstream, they got fired? Now they silly. They silly. It's a whole bunch of them. I can name them all. We got the clip of Tucker and, okay, we don't. All right, I want to get to something else because I got to get on the plane here in a minute. Do we have that clip yet? What's the clip about? Does he actually talk about the Nigerian genocide? Okay, roll it.
But he's all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, deeply concerned about the plight of Christians in Nigeria, which I want to restate. Maybe it's a totally valid concern. I don't know. But that's weird. What is that? All of a sudden, everybody's concerned about people who clearly have no track record of being interested in Christians at all, including Ted Cruz. What is going on?
Ted Cruz has no interest in Christians. Like, I swear, I could make a highlight tape. We're going to make a highlight tape next week of all the insane stuff. See, what happens is people like what they believe the old Tucker was. And they haven't really watched a lot of his stuff now. So they like, no, Tucker, Brandon, you wrong, Tucker. Play the clip back. And just play the clip back. And this is Tucker edit and putting these clips out. This ain't people taking his stuff out of context. His people are putting these clips out. Roll the clip.
But he's all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, deeply concerned about the plight of Christians in Nigeria, which I want to restate. Maybe it's a totally valid concern. I don't know. That's weird. What is that? All of a sudden, everybody's concerned about people who clearly have no track record of being interested in Christians at all, including Ted Cruz. What is going on?
Ted Cruz don't have any interest in Christians. No. The reason that, hey, I don't know if you like sleeping under a rock or you got too much Alpine in your system or whatever his little dip is. Bruh, the people of Nigeria got on camera and said, they're killing us. And they standing over a grave full of Nigerians. They're screaming, help us. The Nigerian government is lying. They're killing Christians. They're showing video of dead Christians. This is why people start saying, whoa, what's going on in Nigeria? Tucker, what are you talking about? They just randomly one day they woke up, Christians in Nigeria. What are you saying, bruh? Why are you not concerned about Christians in Nigeria? You over in Qatar talking about you're going to buy a house in Qatar. You a fraud. These people are frauds. They hate America. Their Jew hate has caused them to lose everything they used to be. And y'all know all the people I'm talking about. Every single one of them. When you begin to cuddle up to anti-Semitism, it rots the brain. And the brain goes off the rails. Ain't nobody saying you got to like Jews or love Israel and none of that. That's your own thing. But when you start doing anti-Semitism, now you're nutty. It turned the brain nuts. Everybody that's anti-Semitic, that's openly they all nuts. Look at what they saying on their platform. They hate America. They hate Trump now. They hate the country. They hate what we do in the country. If it's anything to benefit America, they lie to you about the Iranian war. They lie to you about war in Venezuela. The only thing they can do is talk negative. All of these nut jobs. All right, let's move on. I got like 10 minutes left. I want to go to this shooting. Let's go to that shooting real quick. This will be a quick story. This was the craziest sugar honey iced tea that I've seen this week. Like, I literally laughed with almost a little cry in it that people are this stupid. Now, look at the people in this video and look at their faces. It appears that this is a tragedy. And maybe for them it's a tragedy. But in reality, wait till you see why these people crying. Come on, roll the clip.
Keith Porter's mother, overcome with grief at the candlelight vigil in Carson where she raised him. This is the second memorial in a week for the father of two shot and killed in Northridge by an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve.
Talk about.
Took our loved one.
Okay, right. He's shot by an off-duty ICE agent. Now, mind you, Benjamin Crump has made a statement. I'm going to read his statement. Real quick. So y'all can see. Benjamin Crump, the ambulance chaser. We got his clip on the screen. Keith Porter Jr. was a father of two, a son, and a brother whose life was stolen by an off-duty ICE agent. His family gathered in grief, demanding the truth. We will continue to stand with Keith Porter Jr.'s family until there is justice, transparency, and answers. You stanky Negro. This is what you, attorney, when a brother is killed in the middle of the street, he ain't nowhere to be found. But let's go back to the story, because he reared his ugly head to make a statement about this. Roll the clip.
From us, you murdered our loved one, and it's not fair. It's not right.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, the off-duty ICE agent heard gunfire near his apartment and went to check it out. That's when DHS says the officer encountered Porter holding a long rifle. Advocates say Porter's gunfire that night was his way of observing the holiday.
Well, yes, it was illegal, but at the end of the day, it's American tradition.
I'm 80 years old. It's happened as long as I can remember. That's one of the things that happens. People shoot guns.
as part of fireworks and celebration of the
White
new year.
lady, stop.
But the agent
Stop it. Stop it. You ain't got to get over there and be the white savior. People shoot AR-15s in the sky. That's normal in a residential area, in an apartment complex. He got an AR-15. Probably illegal. That's normal? Put the white lady up there. Let her finish.
People shoot guns as part of fireworks and celebration of the new year.
But the agent allegedly ordered Porter to put down the weapon. And when he didn't comply, DHS says the off-duty officer fired his service gun. The agency claims Porter fired 3 rounds at the off-duty agent before he was killed.
This is a human rights issue.
The 43-year-old's death touching complete strangers. Judy Vaughn from Mid-City drove 20 miles to Carson for his memorial instead of marching at an anti-ICE protest closer to home.
We all need to recognize the shared humanity and come together. And I just wanted to be here to be a part of this group saying his life is valuable, his life matters, and we need to speak out in as many ways as possible.
While LAPD investigates what led up to Porter's final moments, people here want the off-duty ICE officer identified, arrested, and charged.
Hurt, lost. It was my brother. He was my life. He was my kid's life. He was the life of our family.
Organizers say on Tuesday that they will attend LAPD's police commission meeting to petition the chief to make Keith Porter's death investigation transparent. Organizers also acknowledge the shooting death of Renee Good, who was shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota.
Now, let me be fair before I get out of here. Could this have been a bad shooting? Possibly. Can y'all wait before you get on TV and say all this stuff? I don't know a person that is reasonable that in a residential area where another person can confront you is firing off an AR-15. I own these guns. I would never fire off a rifle into the air. You don't live in the country. You in an apartment complex. And then when somebody confronts you, which you should be aware of, because it's not normal to shoot a rifle into the air, you should be ready to say, if somebody come up to me, I'm gonna put the gun down so I don't want nobody to think I'm doing something stupid. But allegedly, he fires at the guy multiple times before he got killed. Now, you could argue that he was defending himself from the other guy, but at the end of the day, if you put 2 and 2 together, you say, if the man just had his rifle with him and some man confronted him with the rifle, he wasn't shooting it or anything, but you're firing the gun. You're firing it. Like you're breaking the law. It's a felony. You could kill people with shooting these rounds in the sky. Why do we always feel that we need to defend people based on the color of their skin? The guy who shot him got a life too. Y'all don't even know who right or wrong in the situation, and you already saying that the guy need to be arrested. You already saying he got a life. What about the Border Patrol guy or the ICE agent? He got a family, he got a life too. But y'all don't care about his life because you want a virtue signal. Like my whole thing is this. If my brother, my oldest brother, were to get killed in the same scenario, before I run my mouth, I would say, I want to know what the truth is. Let me look at it, because I know my brother. And my brother, he sometimes he got an attitude problem. And he might just flash off on somebody and do something he wouldn't necessarily normally do. So I ain't finna sit here and be lying. I'm gonna sit here and wait till the facts come out. I can address the memorial or memorialize my brother or whoever, but I'm not finna sit here and blame somebody else. I'm gonna say, let me see what happened first. And if the guy did something he wasn't supposed to do, did he need to go to jail? But I ain't finna sit here and act like my brother was completely innocent if I know my brother's character and I know he wasn't innocent. You know, I'll say this and I'm gonna get off here. My cousin, and he the one told us something crazy. That's why I thought he was guilty. But come to find out, he was justified. My cousin killed somebody in an altercation. And I felt like he shouldn't have never been there because somebody didn't call him to come up to the scene, and he ended up having to shoot somebody. And really, they should have never even done that. They should have left him out of it, in my opinion. But he gets there. This Asian dude, after confrontation, and there was some confrontation back and forth, right? But the Asian dude decided he gonna pull out a gun and start firing. And my cousin was a better shot. And he smoked him. And I think they arrested him initially, but then when they looked at the cameras, they looked at the witnesses, he actually acted in self-defense. And so y'all didn't see me make a video about it, even though he got arrested at first. I was like, let me see what happened. Because if my cousin did that and he wrong, then he wrong. I'm sad he wrong because he's going to go to prison for a long time and his kid's going to be without him. But if he wrong, he wrong. I said, I ain't going to say nothing about this because I need to make sure that this is what it is before I say nothing about my kinfolk. Then come to find out he was right. Chinaman was tripping and got smoked. Now, the story is old, so I didn't think I need to put it out there, but y'all gonna make me have to make a video about it if you want me to. But my cousin was right, self-defense. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna jump the gun and be like, oh, justice for my, I'm like, I don't know, man, hey. All right. Let's see. All right, it says, my staff is sending me this real quick, and I gotta get out here, I gotta get on plane. ICE agent who was hit by car suffered internal injuries. Breaking news. Do we have that clip? Oh. Internal bleed. All right. I think that's what it is. We don't have a clip yet, but maybe tomorrow we'll have some more information. But we all of us know what the truth is. Renee Good making bad decisions. That's how she died. This ain't compared to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is sitting on the campus like this talking. Renee is hitting people with her cars, tracking down ICE. That's kind of what she said. She stepped into that problem. All right, I love you guys. I got to get out of here. Make sure you follow me on social media. Shout out to Black Line. Shout out to Substack. Go follow me on Substack, The Officer Tatum Show on the Substack. Freedom Chat. Follow me on Freedom Chat. Do all the stuff I ask you to do in every video, please. I love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out of here.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the